Now today we're gonna look at the Kuwait and we're gonna see exactly how the population is doing, and also the main event, as always, gonna look at the population, how exactly they're living in here. But if you don't know, Kuwait is one of those small country in Arab Peninsula in the Middle East, and they have neighbors like Saudi Arabia and Iraq, and very close to Iran. You can see here the borders. And also you're gonna look at a bit at the history. You're gonna see they are one of those closer to Sumer civilization, one of the oldest. So that's going to be an interesting area to just look at it. But now let's look at the population. Roughly around 5 million people. You can see that it's pretty much shut for the sky, but the growing rate is pretty much, let's say, keep a steady pace, but probably in the future it's going to look at down trend. But let's see, look at this, just one of those huge, let's say, boom population in country. Back then in 1955 they have around 190,000 people, and now they have 5 million, which is insane in my opinion. Yearly change in percentage was 3.8, but look at this, they have a 0.10%. Now it's 1.9. That translates back then in 6,000 people, and now it's almost 100,000 people per year. Migrants, well, back then around 15,000, now they have 42,000. So clearly a lot of we're gonna see the majority of the population in those countries, and in Kuwait is the same thing. They are from migrants. I have no idea why they calculate them. In my opinion, they should calculate only the ones who have a full citizenship, and not pretty much everyone who just came there to work and then leave. But that's their way of measuring things. Now, median age back then was 20 years old, 21. Now it's 35, so huge increase. It is again one of those nonsense countries with a fertility rate of 7, which again, like I said, is the it's pretty much selfish in my opinion, because you're gonna rob the next generation for having kids, exactly like you see it's gonna happen. And they got below replacement population in 2022, so in the pandemic year, and there was a steep actually drop from 2.1 at 1.5, and those are just official data. Probably it's gonna be much lower than that. They stay around 1.5 by those data, but probably they're gonna go down. Urban population, back in 1955 they were around 67% of the population living in an urban area. Now it's around 91. It looks like it's just going down a bit from the pandemic time. They have a high point, let's say here, they're around 97-98%, and then steadily gonna go down, and people choose to move in a less urban area, and we're gonna check that on the map here. Now in the future they say the population is gonna hit around 6.3 million people with a growing rate of about 0.89. That would translate in around 50,000 people per year, but migration, they say they're gonna pretty much stop, which I highly doubt that. But again, it's one of those gas oil rich country that, like I say, by 2030 the oil demand is gonna peak, and then after that it's gonna go down. So probably they took that in consideration, so they imagine that they're not gonna need that much labor force. But we're gonna see how that is gonna play in the future. Median age is gonna stay pretty much steady around 35 years old, so nothing changing there. Fertility rate 1.5 steady, which probably is gonna go actually down, probably at around 1, if no other major wars happening in the region. Urban population, again, they going down. They go to 88% by 2050. Probably is going to be lower than that. I have no idea why they fleeing those cities, but we're going to look at them and see exactly how they look and where they're moving. That would be also an interesting things to do. Now, life expectancy is pretty high, I have to say, for those countries. Especially they have that Gulf War at the beginning of the century, but clearly they kind of recovered from that, let's say. Both sexes around 81 years old, female 82, and males almost 80, so very close to each other. Infant mortality rate 6.2, and death under age of 5 7.4, so huge number. So yeah, it's one of those rich countries, but doesn't show in the medical system. They have a lot of problems. And I saw a trend even in my country that a lot of students go to the medicine from those countries. Probably this is how they try to fix the problem, but a lot of those students that came here, they just pretty much decide to remain. So I don't know exactly how that's gonna play for them in the future, but yeah. Demographic, look at the pyramid. The base, they got like a see here pretty much a narrow area, but now they kind of grow in a bigger base, but probably those base they're gonna go a bit down. Like I said, those population around, they project the 6.3. With that low fertility rate and let's say a lot of migration probably is gonna leave the country, those numbers gonna be totally different, but we're gonna see that. Huge male surplus, again they calculate even though migrants that work there. I have no idea why they're doing that, but it's just the way they do it. Now what I've seen interesting here, look at this. In Kuwait, males in 2023 around 760 and females around 787. Now we don't have an age structure, but it looks like they have actually more females than males when don't count those migrants. Again, I have no idea why they do that, but and they say the Kuwait population is going to be around 1.5 million actually, so way long from 5 million. So see, it's a huge imbalance, I would say here. And I think on the age structure you can see here, let's say, but again total nonsense, they choose to pretty much put everyone in the same category, which is make it even worse. We have thing from the on nationality, Kuwait around 1.3 million actually, so 30% of the population actually are the population. Again, I have no idea why they choose to just include the migrants number when probably they don't have a citizenship. Even if you have a green card or whatever equivalent to that like we have in America, I will still do not count them, or at least I make a special category for them, but I will not put them in the whole population. But this is how they cope with that. Indians 1 million, Egyptian 666,000, Filipino they say on the minus, so pretty much they left already. I would say Bangladesh 180,000 people, so you can see a lot of them that huge migrant numbers. Yeah, so probably the population, like I said, it's around 1.3 million, and we have no idea how those actually is going up, is going down, what is the trend. But the fertility rate is just kind of show the trend, which is going down from 2022. So I would guess that the population, the native population, they already stopped growing, and those numbers that we see here just probably from the migrants. And like I say, with the oil demand, and a lot of migrants gonna probably choose to work in other countries. We're gonna see a huge difference in the future in projections. Now economy, well, it's not much we can say about it. Around 300 billion nominal and 250 PPP. Growing rate in 2022 was minus 3.6, so pretty bad, but they say that's better than the previous year. In 2024 around minus 2.7, and in 2025 they project a plus 3.3, so they seems to go out of recession, let's call it like that. Per capita around 32,000 nominal. Again, if they include all the population, even the migrants, again it does like a fake numbers to me, because you have clearly just 1.3 people, and the rest of them they just pretty much get the better minimum wage, so it's kind of hard to include those. But probably they include all the population, so that's why they get with just 32,000 per capita nominal. Probably for the native Kuwait people it's much higher than that, and PPP it's around 51,000. So yeah, pretty, I would say, weird numbers. Unemployment 2.1. Well, I don't look at unemployment that much because as we can see in USA, they only count those people to receive unemployment benefits, and those who don't, they are pretty much considered employee, even that they don't work. So it's a bad way to measure things, but it looks good for the government. Main export, they export a lot in China, in India, in South Korea, Japan, and Taiwan, which is quite interesting for such a small country, but they import a lot from UAE, from China. India doesn't seem to import that much except the cheap labor, but they don't show here. Then Saudi Arabia like 9%, USA 7%, and Japan 4%. So yeah, we're gonna have there some interesting numbers. But now let's look just a bit of the history. It's one of those, like I say, in Sumer civilization, one of the oldest one, if not the oldest one, and the country is pretty much here. So let's say they have a great advantages in history that can actually but should be probably much more advanced. Like I say, always I say with those countries, just because you are pretty much from the beginning of civilization, you have cities there, you have population there, it doesn't mean you have the most advanced country. So Kuwait is one of those country. Now, the main event. Let's look exactly how those people live there, and we're gonna see compared with other regions that already made. Now, I have to say, probably I was a bit tough on those countries because I expected so much and I get so little in return. But yeah, they are pretty much in a desert, not one green things there, and we compare it with pretty much Western world, which is, look at this, the difference even in Europe and USA, much better. But we have Australia, that again a Western world, but that they have some green here, but clearly they've done a much better job. But now let's look at the Kuwait. Let's see how exactly those people are doing. Well, let's say the street view is not that rich, so again we're gonna have some some problems find exactly what we want to see. But let's start from here, from the northern border, because I am curious how exactly they live here. It looks like, again, it's a small country, it looks like a big city, and they have 5 million people, so quite a lot of people, I would say, in such a small area. And a lot of them probably just live in those barracks, especially those who work in a migrant area, a migrant industry. So yeah, those camps right here, I would say they're exactly that. And this is a big city for them, or whatever region this one it is. They have a football there, they have some guy sitting there. So yeah, clearly some migrant area, I would say. It doesn't look that well, I have to say, but we're just the beginning. And again, like I said, Kuwait is one of those rich oil gas country, whatever they have there. From some reason they grow, I see this, I don't know exactly what trees are those, but they have palm trees, and this, it looks like a farm to me. I have no idea what they're doing with them, what they raise them. They probably found them some economic value there that I cannot understand. And this one, it looks much greener than we're gonna see next. So this is pretty much a store. Yeah, not that great. It doesn't look to me like an oil rich country so far. It doesn't even look rich so far. But probably again, we're gonna be those, when we go to the main cities, you're gonna see a much bigger difference. Those people just living here with the camels in those barracks, again, not that well of the life. Probably is from there. Again, middle of the desert, middle of nowhere. How much can you actually improve the landscape? That's gonna be a tough one. I saw some oil rigs here, or gas installation, whatever. Look at those huge ones. They're not as big as a city, but still. Yeah, not that much information. Again, not that many 360s, not that many street views. There is a problem. Usually, in my opinion, it looks like you want to hide something. A lot of cranes here. It feels like the government just they discover the oil and say we're gonna pretty much extract anything, and we're gonna spend the money on luxury stuff. The same story is pretty much from all those countries, but some American cars here. It doesn't look that well for the future, I have to say, but yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Let's see how that's gonna play in the next 5 to 10 years. In 5 to 10 years, we're gonna have, like I say, a much better picture. And I kind of already know the picture what it's gonna be, but we remain to be seen. This one disappeared from here. Yeah, it's not available. Thank a lot. Small countries, we can check everything around them, so it's good. They have those mating in the desert from 4x4, and we have some skyline here. Some garbage here that I don't like it, so they don't keep it that clean. Let's go randomly on the map now, because yeah, the main city is there and it's not much you can do, but the landscape outside the city is pretty okay. It's nice. Again, it's desert, but how much can you do in a desert? I mean, at some point you get bored of the desert too. Let's look here in the southern region. They have some oil infrastructure, whatever it is here. Oil, gas. This is, keep in mind, this is the southern border now. And they have a city here, a small, not exactly that small, but I have a feeling we are not gonna find that much luxury here compared with the main one, but let's see it. Probably the regular people live here and then the rich one there. At least this is the feeling that I have here. Yeah, some garbage around here, not that well. The roads, we didn't look that much because we don't have, let's see this one. Probably they look great. Like I say, no infrastructure, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4 lanes. I have no idea why they're using 4 lanes on one way. 2 is more than enough. You don't even have that much traffic there, and probably you're never gonna have that much traffic anyway, so that's a waste of money. Probably this is how they live. The door are from glass, and yeah, pretty interesting. But look at these conditions. Yeah, the 360 is not that great, but still doesn't show some trust. Probably some migrants worker here, because they have the oil rigs here, and it feels like they kind of build a city a town, a city, whatever, for them to just stay there. Now clearly this is some coffee shop or whatever, and this is the owner, most likely. Oh, we have some street view here. That would be something. Yeah, the road pretty good. A lot of garbage on the streets for whatever reason. It just doesn't look good. But again, keep in mind, those are in my expectation, of migrant area, when people came here to stay and then work on those oil gas rigs or whatever it is, and use them from construction and whatever cheap labor they might need. So clearly the condition, I don't know how much they get paid, but I don't think it's worth it. This one is a good one. Probably they live here, even some middle income people, I would say, in those areas. Let's look at this coastal city again, abroad to the border. Now this is definitely a hotel. I don't know how much big is the tourism there, but I do not know anyone who go there, and I don't think I ever heard something like should go in Kuwait for vacation. Yeah, and this one we're gonna start looking at the much more developed areas, much more expensive one. This is just for those people who own those or they have a pretty big stake in those gas storage, whatever, installation, oil rigs. Yeah, like I said, not that impressive. Just clearly they are man-made, all of those islands, so nothing that natural. But here they have this nice house on the beach. It's much better than we saw when those migrants live. So yeah, I guess you can't complain if you live in one of those areas. It is definitely much better. But they still look pretty old, even some construction, so they are not all brand new. But still much better. Yeah, if you live in those areas, clearly much better. On this one, man-made artificial islands, whatever bullshit it is. Oh, we have someone house, that's nice. Yeah, still better. Still decent, but the skyline, look at this, how they look, just... yeah, not that well, I have to say. And pretty much they build chaotic. The same problem as other countries in the regions, the urban areas, the urban code. This guy looks like he's stuck there. They have a shovel out, so have some problems. That's lacking a lot. So I guess the Europeans came there and say, as an architecture point, they came and they get hired by those rich people there to build our country. And they say, you know what, we're gonna build whatever concept they don't allow us to build in Europe or North America, the Western world, and let's just get it out of the system here, and we're gonna see how they play. And clearly it wasn't played that great. So yeah, again, probably some migrants here. working on those oil rigs, whatever they are, storage units, transportation units, distribution, whatever bullshit they're trying to sell there. Overall, again, it's one of those desert countries. Come on, how much they can improve it. They use the money building, let's say, good roads. It's good roads when talking about how they look. God knows how well they are designed there and what cities they connect. But yeah, the skyline as an architecture point doesn't look that well. Everything is pretty much tarmac and concrete and gray or cream, whatever you want to call it. But again, it's one of those desert countries. How much can you actually they have the money, but how much green stuff you can put let's say in one of those. And now we go into the main cities, and I'm not gonna waste that much time. I'm gonna look exactly how those people live. From above doesn't look that great, but it looks like a mall. I'm not impressed by those things. When people say, oh, look at the mall, look at how those things doesn't even work anymore. So clearly they cut them out for whatever reason. Nothing works here. Maybe this one, not even that. Maybe this 360 here. Okay, this one works, so we have a break here. Yeah, I was 100% sure it's gonna be something from inside. There's no way they can allow it from outside. So yeah, clearly they have something to hide there, I would say. Not great so far. I don't see the money. So far, I don't see the money again inside. There might be actually some really strict rules about those 360 in the cities outside, because otherwise I don't see the point. And the highway, when it's pretty much perfect, yeah, that we're gonna show that. This one, it looks like a medical center, whatever. It looks pretty new, I give them that. But again, those death under age of 5 and infant mortality doesn't show it that great of the system. Overall, I guess, what is that? Ice cream? It's decent, let's call it like that. Decent, not great. Decent. Like I said, probably those native population there, they have a much, and this is from inside, probably there's gonna be a mall here. Yeah, they have probably a hugely much more better lifestyle than those migrants that work there. They came to work, they make some money. Probably they get paid much more than in their countries, and that's why they choose to do there. But I heard some working condition that's not that great from those people. Yeah, a lot of garbage here. Ooh, this is pretty much like a strip area or whatever it is. It's not, yeah, it's not great. Just a lot of hype. Again, what I saw in these videos that I made around this one, they have an area when they pretty much build the skyscrapers and all that huge buildings that you see it everywhere. Someone makes a documentary, you're gonna see, oh, such a great area, such a great country, such a great place to live. And we look at that with those Google Street Views and trying to see some more. Now they have a highway over the sea for whatever reason. I don't know why you spend that much money building something like this. And you can pretty much go around. Probably it's gonna be much cheaper. But okay. Yeah, they have those main area, and you can see a problem it's around here, and they have a lot of those street views. But immediately when you step outside, you are pretty much seeing this kind of architecture, and it's not that even far from the center, you can see. So yeah, they have those highways 100%. They're gonna have some street views on them, not that great quality, and it's 2024. Keep in mind that at least they have a little bit more traffic, but again, I don't think you need that many lanes. This is from inside 100%. Yeah. Oh, they have a car here. Yeah, no way. Here they have again, no 3D buildings. Like, come on, what are you trying to pull here? Oh, they have this island with some oil rigs. I think they are. Or no, it's not. Looks like a prison. I have no idea what is this, but it looks like a prison to me. They have 1.3 million people. What prison do you need? Have a parking lot. They look like that. I'm not sure if it actually it is, but it looks like a prison to me. On the island. So decided, you know what, we're gonna put them on the island in case they escape. They cannot go too far. I have no idea if that's probably that's a man-made island. Yeah, here's gonna be some touristy stuff. 100%. The sea is gone. We don't have it. It's a low tide. Oh, the rich one. Look at this, the yacht. Ooh, I wanna see this. Oh, from above, even better. Those where the money are. Look at this. Those from the buildings and those yachts. There is the money. That's it. Anything else doesn't matter. That's the money right there. And this is the center area. When you step outside, let's see how they're doing in just a few meters down the road. Now this is from the store. Again, they are very picky what they can put and what they cannot put, and pretty much all of those are from the inside areas. But yeah, when you don't allow to see everything, in my opinion, in my book, that means you're trying to hide something. This is pretty good. It's a Pizza Hut, I think. Looks pretty good actually. But again, when you don't have this one, I don't think they're working. Oh, they're working. Oh, that's great. Those buildings need some maintenance, and this is pretty much forever there. And this is 2022. Okay, so maybe the improvement so far. This one doesn't look that great, and the quality of those street views, who makes those? The road so far doesn't look that great here, and the sidewalk, it's fucked up. Let's call it like that. Oh, that's a nice car there. A lot of garbage on the street. Yeah, and keep in mind, it's not that far away from the main area, the main event. And look at this, have those empty spaces that they keep that way for whatever reason, probably for having some picnic. But yeah, it just shows that even if you have money, it still doesn't mean anything when you don't have a great city to live. And probably it's gonna be the same story like the other Middle East countries, rich oil people made by the oil. They have properties in Europe and North America, and USA, North America, and when shit hits the fan here, they kind of move there instantly. So yeah, but for those people who actually don't have that many resources here, doesn't look like a great life, I have to say. Probably they live, most likely, not probably, even worse than. We have some green stuff here, that's nice. Then even the Eastern Europeans, yeah, definitely, even the Eastern Europeans live much better. The average Eastern European probably lives much better than the average Middle East guy. It doesn't matter which country it is. But it is what it is, I guess. Again, those huge communist buildings doesn't look that great. It's pretty bad, I have to say. And yeah, they have those installation here, so they need that cheap labor. And here probably it's 10 times worse, but you cannot see it. Clearly nobody makes a 360 here. This one again, probably the same story. And let's check this one, maybe get lucky. But nah, it's from inside. No. The building in this area, it looks, at least they have some architectural feature. It's pretty good, I have to say. This one looks nice, but I can't see that much. Yeah, this one I don't like it. Huge communist buildings. Yeah, no, it doesn't feel like you taking advantage of that oil money. If you are the average guy there, probably don't even feel it that your country is actually rich, but it is just rich for someone, not for everybody. Yeah, overall the same story as the other countries in the Middle East, in Arab Peninsula, but again, when you don't go for those main events there, the main buildings, the main city, the main tourism attraction, we're gonna see a different face of those countries. So yeah, overall I would give them a 4, but probably, like I say, in the future that's gonna be even worse for them. We have a 360 here. What is this? Probably some touristy, yes. Some guy make 360 from here. Yeah, my opinion doesn't look that great, but again, if those people are happy, if you live there, if you watch this video, I'm curious exactly how exactly you live here. Probably you're gonna rich one or the middle income one. I'm curious how exactly the life it is there. Yeah, so far from what we saw here, and the next video probably we're gonna go down to Oman and then Yemen, so we can actually finish everything around this southern port, and then we're gonna go up to Iraq, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and all those countries. Israel we already made it, but again, yeah, probably in some point when I finish all the countries, I'm gonna go back to those that I did it with a different way and make it better. But yeah, tomorrow is gonna be Oman, and we're gonna see exactly how those people live. But for Kuwait, keep in mind they have the Gulf War here in 2000, I don't know, 2000, 2001, around that. So yeah, they have to recover from that too. But still, it doesn't look, like I said, the same problem. All those countries have the same problem. The urban areas, they're not that well designed, and that is going to be a huge problem for them in the future. But from now, I guess things working like that, don't change it. So yeah, see you in the next video.